this session, and Susan is going to begin with her how to do searches and editing in your Eclipse dictionary. Susan, it is all yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead. I've got my dictionary opened. I do want to say I have so many entries. I have so much old stuff because I converted it over from court reporting when there were no computers, and so I've got a lot of entries that people are probably going to think, I can't believe you write that in 8 strokes, but little brief. But anyway, I've opened up my personal dictionary, and you can see the text. You can sort through text, steno, created. You see all the categories. I got to move this thing. I have already sorted it to the most used to see, and fortunately most are 1 stroke, so you can sort out is how many times you use them. Artificial intelligence, and the only thing I have is my AN resolution. You can also sort by how many strokes, which is really fun. So I'm going to go to the bottom, and you will see all these crazy things that I have, most of which I've never used, and I'm probably going to go through and delete them. I've got like 33,000 entries that are like this. Then you can switch over to sort by how many words. And this one I'm going to show you. I don't know how it got here, but I can click on that. I don't know why it's there. So just to show you, and I'm going to delete that. To do a search, hit F5, and you can sort. You've got many options here. I'm going to start numbers. When I switched over to Eclipse, I had all my numbers predefined. You don't need to do that. So I've already deleted them out, but you can sort by digits. And I've already gone through. I had like dollar amounts in there, define, alpha, all my numbers. I have already gone through and deleted them, but you can go through here, and if you have ordinals that you've predefined, you can get rid of those. Now, this is one you can also do. I'm going to do a steno search in here because this is kind of fun. I have another weird entry here. I didn't do it, did it? Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't like not working, but I'm going to start over. There it is. Like I said, years ago I wrote everything out. You see my entries are 2005. This was one I found. I don't know what I did there. Delete it. Double strokes. This one I like because a lot of people, older captioners, have always did double strokes for things. And I have a lot of stuff I need to get rid of because I don't double stroke them anymore, but like Oklahoma, Louisiana, and I had another one, and I did delete a lot of these kind of entries. It was Asia International Social Club. I know it. This will find all these goofy entries, and I had a lot. You can also do a go to steno search. You see all the options. You can do all caps, phrases, alpha. This is version 7. You can sort it out how you want. I've also, what was that? 5 strokes or more. Now I have a lot of words in here that I really need to get rid of and get new briefs, which later on I'll show you a website called Briefpedia. I've started a list for myself of words I need to get briefs for, and this website Briefpedia, you just type in a word and it will give you a brief. Or if you have a brief that you like, you can add it to their website. Let's see.
I always like that last used column.
What's that?
I always like that last used column just because it's like, when it's, been more than 10 years since you used
Oh, yeah, yeah.
an outline. It's like, oh my
exactly.
God.
I've got 33,000 entries I've never used since 2005. So I really need to clean it up. And if anyone felt so inclined, you can also do a spell search, which I started. And I left off at entry 8866. I hit my F5 entry number 8866. It will take me to that, and I do a Shift Alt S. I don't know what that is. So this is just an example. I've got all these weird entries like that. You can ignore. This is just an example to go through if you're so inclined. Like I said, I've got 114,000 total entries, and I'm up to 8866.
Susan, I got a question.
Yes.
Is that in, leave that there, please, don't close that out. Where it says like change all, you could kind of use that as a search and replace as well, couldn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean, say I want to change this to something?
Well, like, yeah.
Like,
and see, I've got all my ordinals. I've got some of them so that they're coming out with the TH in capital letters instead of small. Is that something where I could find those and pull them out? That might be going back to numbers, but
you would, yeah. You'd probably be better just hitting the numbers and digits.
okay, thank you.
And it should show up there.
Okay.
Because I mean, I don't have my ordinals predefined anymore.
But you can replace them, and you can do it. Hit the F5 again. Hit that again, or whatever it is, Susan.
F5.
Where if you're looking for the text, like your ordinals, like TH, or I don't know how you've done it,
yeah,
but you can put that in either the steno or the text, and then over on the other side where it says replace. So if you just want to change the ST or the TH or something like that, you can put that in there and then put whatever you want that to be in the replace part. And I think you can also ask it to confirm it so it doesn't automatically do it, or you can have it, if you're sure, because I've done this, if you're sure, you can do it. But it's like you have to, otherwise you can just confirm each one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Anybody have any questions so far?
And I'd just like to interject one thing about why this is important, is because probably the most common complaint we get from a station is when some old brief or some old phrase or something that was laying in your dictionary from, 2001 that you don't ever use,
Yes.
You happen to misstroke, or you thought that was your brief for something that's more current. And so it's super important to periodically, even if it's kind of painful to do, just at least the last used or the really long things or the doubled or whatever, and try and get those out, because that's what we get the most often complaints on, is some old brief form for KKK or Saddam Hussein or whatever coming up randomly in the middle of something. And these are even briefs that people aren't even using anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to touch on autobrief a little bit too.
Oh, awesome.
I would like that.
Okay. Oh, autobrief is when Eclipse will, if you write something a couple times, I have mine triggered. If I write a phrase that's over 2 strokes a couple times, it will give me a brief. So I'm going to go into settings, real time, and here
And
I have.
Isn't this level one at some? Maybe that's I'm thinking the intelligent conversion or whatever. Do you remember what version this got? This has it always been this way?
No.
I think this is a more recent version.
Yeah, this is version 7. I think
they incorporated one before that.
They did. I think the Kislingberry suggestions were like in version 6, but they've had it.
I think so. I love the Kislingberry suggestion part.
Oh, man, I do too, because he briefs everything.
Oh, God.
And it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we go through that. These are settings I got from Advantage Software, so I have a lot of suggestions coming up, and you can see how these are. If you want to use this, but you have a series of keys you do not want suggested, you can go into theory settings. When I'm in school, we didn't use the asterisk key, so that's tough for me to grasp even still. And then I've got a series of keys that autobrief will not suggest. Now, Kislingberry, his has everything. Those pop up automatically. When you use autobrief, however, you have to be careful with your dictionary lineup. So how I have my lineup set up as in the job dictionary, I call it my brief, because if you use a suggested brief, it will throw that into your job dictionary. So you don't want to have like your California or whatever job dictionary in there, because you may not want to have that brief thrown out. For example, and if you want to sort another thing when you use autobrief, if you do, you can sort it out by comment. And then I do this about every day, and I review if I want to keep them or not. Yesterday with the Weather Channel, Siberian Express kept coming up, so autobrief gave me this suggestion. I don't want to keep it because I'm sure it will cause a problem for me later on, so I'm going to delete it.
Oh, like that freezing rain too. That's like, oh, I mean, it's great on the fly, but dear God, that's a terrible brief.
Well, it comes up with the SI I know would trip me up, and so I just saved that for today because I know that would really mess me up. I like the Hillary Clinton. So that's the thing. You have
I like
to be
the
careful.
voice too. Sorry.
The voice? Yeah.
The voice one, yeah.
And I think Katie came up with the Affordable Care Act. I always liked that. I kept it. So that's the only thing really you have to be careful of. You see? Yeah. So you just have to be careful with those autobriefs because they will sneak up on you and spit it out. Can anyone have any questions on that?
No, but that was helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love having a brief dictionary. I've had one forever. I don't know if I've ever went into that, but it's like reviewing it regularly, and that way just putting all of those short briefs that you just really, really need and that come from autobrief and everything in there is great because it gives you a much smaller dictionary to review like on a weekly basis or something. So.
Oh, and you know what? That reminds me of a website I was going to show because I just found this. Let's see. I got this darn screen. Here we go. Briefpedia. And like I said, I started going through. I saw these antibiotics anti-inflammatories, it's like I really should not be writing that in 5 strokes. So and it gives you a list of possible briefs and possible conflicts. And if you have one you want to share, you can add it.
Very cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I've got my list going where I need to start incorporating them because I write out way too much stuff.
I do too.
And the last thing I have, and I recently learned this, everyone will be happy to know, Eclipse automatically backs up our main dictionary every time you enter Eclipse. So when you're afraid, oh, you didn't, you might have backed it up, but it was 6 months ago, you forgot, Eclipse backs it up for us. So there's my dictionaries, and this symbol will tell us where the backup is located. And this is where our dictionaries are. It is the DBO file, so it was updated at 9 o'clock this morning. Now I know there was talk on the Facebook page about deleting files. This also backs up every job we do. So when I opened this up the other day, I had files from 2014 and I had 5,088 files. Yeah.
I had no idea it did that.
Yeah. I didn't
Does it
either.
periodically scroll them off or anything?
I don't think so. I mean, it dated back to 14.
Is that a setting you can change on backups? That seems like a terrible thing to do. I mean, the dictionary is great, but it's like the jobs?
I don't know. I asked the guy I was talking with Advantage, and I go, is there any reason I would need all these? And no. I mean, it doesn't back up your job dictionaries, but I'm like, I really don't need 5,088 files. So I went through and did delete them, so.
Wow.
But this might be a little comfort if you forgot or something happened to your backup of your main dictionary. We can, you'd have to call Advantage and they will import this dictionary backup back in for us. That happened to me in 2013. I was on version 5, I think, and something happened and I freaked out, and my gosh, they showed me I had my dictionary and they imported it in for me.
Are those, so those are all the same, all those Susan DB4, DB3, DB2s are all the exact same file backed up at different times?
It appears that way, yeah. I mean, I just asked them what were the dictionary files. It's the DBO.
Huh.
I'd assume it's the same. I don't think I had much difference from, who knows.
But it looks like they only keep like 4 of them or something like that, and then it must rotate or something.
Yeah, I never paid attention to it till just the other day, and he explained to me which was the dictionary file. So,
huh.
Yeah, so you might want to go in there and delete.
Oh no, there's some more DB5s and DB6s. You have more. Oh my God. I gotta go look. Okay. Wow.
But still doesn't back up your job dictionaries, but your main, and I believe also your user. Yeah, there's my user, my INI settings. So that might be of some comfort if we forget. And other than that, I'm finished.
Does anybody have any questions for Susan or for anybody on that or on something else? No? Okay. That was really short today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.